تبارك الذي جعل في السماء بروجا وجعل فيها سراجا وقمرا منيرا وهو الذي جعل الليل والنهار خلفة لمن أراد أن يذكر أو أراد شكورا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. يا عليم علمني ما لم أكن أعلم يا عليم. أما بعد, in the previous episode of the Tafseer of Ibadur Rahman from Surah Furqan, we had looked at 5 qualities before. Those of you who have not watched the previous episode, I recommend you those and watch those so that you can understand the sequence and understand the tafsir better. So today, inshallah, we'll look at quality number 6. Allah says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما. Translation of the ayah is those who spend, when they spend, they are neither extravagant nor miserly, but keep a balance between the two extremes. So there are 2 things which we need to consider. 2 words. Number 1 is israf, and number 2 is iqtar. So number 1, israf means to be spendthrift, anything done in excess, and iqtar is being miserly, being stingy. Remember these 2 things, israf and iqtar. Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah and other mufassirin write that the different people have different views about this ayah due to differences in the interpretation of what is israf and what is iqtar. One of the meaning of israf, al-israfu an-nafaqa fi ma'asiyati Allahi wa in qillat, wal-iqtaru mana'a haqq Allahi ta'ala. That israf is to spend wealth, money, in disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it is small amount. Well, iqtar is defined as to prevent spending in right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where there is right to be spent, they don't spend. Nuhas rahimahullah says that israf is man anfaqa fi ghayri ta'atillah, spending in ways which are not in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, spending in disobedience basically. That for example, spending in haram and prohibited things. And iqtar he defines as man amsaka an ta'atillah, to hold back, not to spend in obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other Mufassirun says that if a person spend so that people will say, is he showing off? Or people will say how philanthropist he is, or to impress other people, all these things will be regarded as haram, even though his wealth may be obtained by halal ways. If this is the case, then imagine what will be the consequence of those who, despite not having wealth, borrow money or take out loan on interest to buy extravagant things, to show off and to impress others and to get fake status and to get good standing in the society, in the community. This is seen many a time in our community, especially at occasions which are happy, for example wedding. The amount of money wasted on providing lavish meals and banquet, so that people say, wow, you spent so much money on this. Yazid ibn Habib rahimahullah says that the quality of Ibadur Rahman is, and he defines that, لا يأكل للتنعم واللذة, that these people, those who are Ibadur Rahman, or worthy of being called Ibadur Rahman, they do not eat for enjoyment or for good taste or pleasure. ولا يلبسون ثوبا للجمال, nor do they wear clothes for the purpose of beautification. ولكن كانوا يريدون من الطعام ما يسد عنه الجوع. But these are the people, their aim is to eat in such a manner that removes hunger. And then he goes on further, وَيُقَوِّيهِمْ عَلَى عِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِمْ. So this food that they eat, it gives them enough energy and strength to stand in front of their Lord, Allah Rabb Azza wa Jal. And then he says, وَمِنَ الثِّيَابِ مَا يَسْتَرُ عَوْرَاتِهِمْ وَيُكَنِّرُ مِنَ الْحَرِّ وَالْقَرِّ. That he says that they wear clothes to, first of all, to cover the aura, to cover their private parts, which is fard on us. So they protect their private part, and so hide their aura, and also protects them from external elements such as heat and cold. Ibn Majah reports a hadith from Anas radiallahu an, that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna min al-asrafi ta'akulu mashtayta." Extravagance, excess, is that you eat all that you desire. So whatever you desire, you eat. That's also regarded as israf. These days, we see a lot of food wastage. Majority of the people do not eat food left over from the previous day and throw away good, healthy, nourishing food, perfectly safe and suitable for eating, goes in the bin. Especially at weddings and walima celebration and iftar parties, subhanallah, we see so much israf. People take a plate full of food as if they have not eaten for months, and then don't even bother. There may be 50 people standing in the queue, and they take everything from there, not leave much for the people who are to follow. And then what happens? They've taken it all, and then they don't like it. So what happens? It all goes in the bin. So why take in the first place? Go for seconds. Nobody is preventing you to go for seconds. And it's not haram to go for seconds, but to waste is haram. Why do people not realize this? This is israf. And Allah Azza wa Jal will hold us on the day of judgment for this wastage. Our children are the same. We don't teach children the etiquette of eating in the first place, and they do the same thing. Greed is there. And I've seen this not with ordinary people, but also those who present themselves as being muttaqi and parhezgar. And people say, oh, these people are really, really very pious people, and they do the same. So much food is wastage in the month of Ramadan, whereas in Ramadan we should be eating less. This is all israf and will be questioned on the day of judgment. So this is one aspect. And then Infaaq fi sabeelillah, to spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to Infaaq fi sabeelillah, donating in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah says in Surah Isra, وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ وَالْمِسْكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا. وآت ذا القربى حقه والمسكين وابن السبيل ولا تبذر تبذيرا. let us give the relatives their due. And then comes the needy and the wayfarers, and do not squander your wealth by being spendthrift. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu an was asked about what is the meaning of tafseer. So وَآتِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ وَالْمِسْكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا. So his reply was that Infaaq al-mal fi ghayri haqqihi, that the tafseer is that you spend wealth on something which has no right to be spent on. Today, we and our children have become obsessed with designer things, designer clothes, designer shoe, designers wash, designer this, designer that, and we waste so much money on these items. We can buy similar things for quarter of the price of what we are paying, yet we don't care. This is also israf, excess, and it will be questioned. If my neighbor has got something, then I will have to have some better than him, just to compete with him. What a madness. Another disease is the urge to buy new things on loan, new cars, new everything on credit. We amass a heck of a debt on our credit cards, and these loans are on interest, and interest keeps increasing, and then we cannot pay. So what do? We declare insolvency, bankruptcy. Now what happens? So that none of the creditor gets their money at all. We have money, we transfer our money to somebody else's name, we are okay, but these people from whom we borrowed, they don't get their money. This will be questioned on the day of Qiyamah. This attitude of ours that live to enjoy today and who cares about tomorrow attitude is extremely dangerous. You know, our Prophet ﷺ, he never used to pray Salatul Janazah on a dead person if he or she had debt. He will ask his ashab, has this disease, has this person who died, has he any debt? If the answer is yes, in affirmative, then he would tell them to lead. He will not lead Salat Janazah. Think about it. That is the right Haqqul Ibad. Unless the debts are cleared, you will have to pay in the hereafter. So all your good deeds will be given to them. And then if you run out of good deeds, their sins will be laden upon you. It is a very dire situation. We need to think about it very carefully and not to get excited about all these new things. These things are all temporary in this dunya, whereas our aim is for the hereafter. Inshallah, we'll continue in the next time. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.